Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to get more yardage without necessarily having to swing it any faster. One way we all know of doing that with the driver is obviously playing the ball kind of inside our left foot, but then having a little bit of tilt. Now, one of the ways where people go wrong here is that they have their pelvis in the middle and then they try and tilt to the right. So now they've got way too much weight on their back foot. What I want you to try and feel is that as you get an upright setup, I want you to feel as if you bump your hips just an inch to the left and you bump your hips an inch to shoulders an inch to the right, and that should create an ever so slight spine angle away from target, but would keep the pressure and the weight in the feet fairly even. So if you're behind the ball and then tilting, you would create an overly upward angle of attack and probably struggle with things like topping or duffing driver, two things which just can't happen to shoot good scores. Now, one really easy thing that you can do when you're trying to get better at things like spine angle and hitting up on the ball is essentially set up. I've got a drill stick in my swing plate, dead simple. It's at about a 15-degree angle. And all I would do is essentially, I can't hit balls this way because I'm obviously in the corner of the studio, but what I would do is get my driver position and try to feel as if my spine angle is matching the drill stick I've got in front of me, because it's quite difficult to feel it sometimes, particularly if the pelvis is in the wrong place to start off with. But I find that having a visual in front is so much more helpful, because I can almost get it in the ground, and obviously if you practice off grass, it's great as well, you know, and you can get into a driver setup and think, okay, can I feel my pelvis just slightly left, chest just slightly right? And then the job would be to almost visualize trying to maintain that spine angle. And as you're turning around your spine angle, you don't have to try to create it. It's almost like you set it early, you set it in the setup, so to speak, and then essentially you basically turn around that spine angle, so you don't have to try to create the spine angle at strike. So once you find yourself in a better setup where you're having a bit of spine angle away from target and you feel as if you can maintain the angle that the drill stick dictates, you can essentially start to feel that it's okay to have a little bit of sideways movement. The key is that I see a lot of people that have sideways movement of the pelvis, but not of the upper body. And this immediately starts to get the spine angle tilting in the opposite direction. It's fine to have, imagine the center of my pelvis and the center of my chest moving roughly about an inch in the backswing, because that's got to get things started. That's kind of our trigger move. There's a little move off the ball, but then we turn around that spine angle and turn down into our downswing, trying to maintain it. What you'll start to find is that you'll do two things. You'll increase your amount of club head speed, because it makes sense to swing the shaft more around our body and swing it faster, as opposed to have too much sideways movement. So let's hit one with too much tilt of the spine angle at the top. This could be struck terribly. So didn't hit it too bad, but look at the flatness in the flight. So it's gone now 2 degrees down. It's crazy that it felt as if it was about 10 degrees down, but we'll get to that another day. Ball speed has massively dropped off. The carry has gone down to 215. Bear in mind, I was up at 290, 295. So a huge drop in carry, and now totaling 268, which is done well on a firm fairway, I would have thought. So I've lost a ton of yardage purely by going from a nice rounded backswing where I'm maintaining spine angle to a position where the pelvis rocks away from target. That is genuinely the number one reason why I see people lacking yardage. Is because they have that tilt at the top and they spend their downswing manufacturing the spine angle. So as they're up here, they're spending their downswing manufacturing this angle here, which if they got into a good setup with the drill stick at a 10 to 15 degree angle and trying to maintain that in the backswing, they wouldn't have to spend time moving this way. They instead could learn to have a slight lateral push and then a rotation off of it, which is a much more effective way to create club head speed and consistently hit up on the driver. The final drill is a very, very simple one. And again, you only need a drill stick. You're going to place the drill stick about 5 or 6 inches inside your trail foot. What I want you to do then is get into a golf posture, feeling as if you bump the hips an inch to the left, the shoulders an inch to the right, then hinge forward from the waist and maintain that spine angle. From there, I want you to put your hands in front of you as if you're pushing on a tabletop. From there, the tendency for most people that I've seen would be to, again, bump the hips away, and that gets the arms feeling as if they're going quite high, quite early, and we can see the excessive tilt I've got. What I want you to try and feel, if you feel like this is you, what I want you to try and do is feel as if as you move your shoulders and hips around your spine angle, I want you to feel as if you are still pushing on that tabletop as you move around to your left foot. This will give you the sensation of where your chest should be. So rather than overextending your chest and your arms wanting to work too high, you could then start to feel as if that's a loaded backswing, give or take a bit more length, but that's a loaded backswing where I'm pulling my right hip back, pulling the left shoulder back, but I'm maintaining spine angle. And this is a dead easy way to feel as if you're just turning around your spine. Then go and grab your driver. Keep the drill stick in the same spot, 5 or 6 inches in from that trail foot. Then place the club across your shoulders. Get into the setup, hips an inch left, shoulders an inch to the right. Forward into some flexion. And then again, keeping that feeling of your hands on a tabletop, try and rotate your body so that the grip end of your club matches that drill stick on the floor. Look at how the spine angle is maintained. Whereas as we start to move the pelvis too away and we have too much tilt, you'll find that it's very, very difficult for you to get the grip all the way across and therefore make a full rotation. So you're going to try and do a few reps like this. It'll feel as if the backswing almost takes probably a week for some of you, longer. Okay, so I'm moving around that spine angle. Then all you do is place the drill stick where you need it, where you just had it, 5 or 6 inches in. You get into your setup. That's maybe a little bit too far back. Get into your setup and try and create the same feeling. Now I've got to be careful not to overdo this, but let's see where this one goes. Felt pretty good. So we're back up to 112.5, a little bit lower carry, slightly lower spin rate, but still at 310, and I got my 2-degree upward angle of attack. So that's it from me. I hope that helps. Feel free to click the subscribe button and the little bell in the corner so you don't miss any future videos, and I will see you next time.